oh boy, are there so many things to talk about this week. What the fuck, Simon?
Trump is the ultimate KOL. He's the OG KOL. He's the biggest KOL.
So I feel vindicated. I'm gonna dance a little bit. You know what I mean? Dance on these bitches.
So conspiracy theory right now here from my side.
Right? Suddenly it's all like, oh, I guess this isn't a scam.
Boom! Welcome to Soul Brothers, to yet another episode together with my dear friend Eno and myself, Simon, where it's our job to throw you guys into the Solana rabbit hole and show you around in our exciting ecosystem.
Our mission is to keep you up to date with the latest and greatest that's going on in Solana so that you never run out of fun things to talk about with the homies. And oh boy, are there so many things to talk about this week. What the fuck, Simon?
Insane. Like every single night, I go to bed, I go up in the morning and something crazy happened again. So in the past 48 hours, Solana went from new all-time high to almost down. When I say down, I mean the network itself, like it almost died again. And we haven't seen that for like a year. And we literally printed a new all-time high, right? Like 24 hours before that. In the last 48 hours, we also saw the president of the United States launching its own meme coin. And then 24 hours later, the first lady launching her first meme coin into the market. And then both catapulting the Solana price into the sky. And also themselves into the sky. We saw the craziest on-chain token launch in history so far. And besides this, there's new things and products launching on Solana still, right? But I think we should kick it off by just looking at where we are right now. Quick look at the prices, quick look at the macro environment, and then talk a little bit about what happened on Solana and why did we see so much traffic and what did it do to the network, and are we good right now? I think those are some questions we shall cover. Let's start with this one.
You are already seeing results that nobody expected to see. Everyone is calling it I don't want to say this, it's too braggadocious, but we'll say it anyway. The Trump effect. It's you're the effect. Since the election, the stock market has surged and small business optimism has soared a record 41 points to a 39-year high. Bitcoin has shattered one record high after another.
You hear that? Bitcoin shattered one record high after another.
Bitcoin shattering records, shattering hearts, just like my token, money for everybody. Someone told me that if you took all the Trump at like its all-time high and you distributed it to all Americans, everybody would get 40K.
Oh my God. That's just ridiculous. Let's check out what happens. Quick look at Solana. Right now we're trading at $246, which is definitely up from last week when we talked. So just zooming out, I always like to start from the macro view. We can actually see that we're right now in a range, literally at the all-time high from Solana that we last saw in November 2021. And we also see that we had a very good impulsive candle to the upside, almost crushing the 295. Actually, we reached 295, but we didn't. We got rejected before the 300 mark right here. Now, looking at this, it is actually a very pretty chart, that is still looking like a lot of bullish momentum. If 2025 is going to be as macroeconomically positive for the whole world, if nothing crazy happens that like unforeseen events, then the thesis should play out that this impulse that we see starting from October 2023 to now, mid of January 2025, that this impulse should not be the end right now. Okay, looking at the thesis here, to see where we are right now. The last wave that we saw, the last impulse, was actually a very impulsive push to the upside, which is also following the technical analysis, especially the Elliott wave counts, the third wave of a 5-wave move. The third wave is usually the most impulsive one, and it doesn't look like this wave is over yet. It just looks like that the sub-waves inside the bigger one are right now playing out in a 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5 to the upside. So I am actually still pretty bullish on Solana right now. I saw a lot of people taking profits at the top, which is totally fine. Like we all do that. And it's actually a pretty good practice to do, in my opinion, because we literally saw almost $300. And I think it was it was a good moment to take some profits over there. And then we saw, a healthy correction to the downside, and then now trading upwards again. So this looks all good to me. How do you feel about Solana price right now? Do you still remain bullish, or did you already cycle all your SOL into stables?
No, I am still holding my soul. I am very, very bullish. There was a topic that we pulled out, but I'll just mention it very briefly. Trump has mentioned having a strategic crypto reserve specifically for tokens that were made in America. So whatever the fuck that means in this decentralized world. But Solana obviously would be one of the prime candidates to be in that strategic reserve, especially considering that's where he launched his damn token. Do I think it's actually a good idea for the United States to have a crypto reserve? If done properly, yes, but like can be fucked up in a lot of ways. So that does make me a little concerned. But if you're asking how it affects the price, it's very bullish.
Should be good for crypto overall. And I think governments holding crypto tokens is something we as an industry need to keep maturing. It's not a bad thing overall, right? They can't kill us. They can't, centralize what we have. I think that's just too ambitious and too expensive for them to do. But they can have incentive and have a shared interest in this economy, in the crypto economy. And I think that's nothing bad, isn't it?
I think it's not bad at all. But the only thing that needs to be worked out before you do something like that is make a very, very strict process for which tokens get into that reserve, right? Because otherwise you'll have everybody and their mother trying to shield the US government or like dictators around the world, people who just have 100% control over their country's finances, to like add some shit coin to the reserve. So as long as we can figure out a responsible mechanism and a review process by which, and hey, maybe Solana doesn't pass that review process for whatever reason, I'm also kind of okay with that. I just think it's better, especially when it comes to the money of taxpayers all around the world, that we be ultra responsible in such a volatile industry. So as long as we're keeping an eye out on that, good to go. And I think it is a good thing.
Sounds good to me. Yeah. Is this going to make it into the reserve?
My bags hope so.
This is valuable enough. So right now, for everyone who's listening to this, we're looking at the Trump chart, the real Trump, a token that has been launched over the weekend on a Saturday at 11 p.m., I think, Eastern time. Is that correct? There was some time in the evening that they launched this beautiful token, and it went up to 6 billion market cap in the first 3 hours. It went up to 1 billion volume in trading in this time as well. And while we are looking at the chart right now, we're seeing buy orders coming in for 14K, 13K. We're just like, it's just ridiculous how large these orders sometimes are. And if you think, oh, those are good buy orders as well right here, right? One guy, one wallet buying 20K, 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 20K. I don't know what this is here, but this is almost $200,000, I think, that this guy bought into 40 seconds ago at the valuation of, attention, 61 billion FTV and a market cap of $12 billion. The Trump token right now is literally trading again almost at its all-time high, which was $75 billion. We have more than 800,000 holders in their token, more than 800 million in liquidity, and we have a volume of 2.5 billion on Trump token. Talking about the Meteora pool right now between Trump and USDC, we covered it slightly yesterday, right? And I think we can't go deeply into the ethical discussion of what this is. But just give me again your TLDR on the Trump token. What do you think this means for crypto? What do you think this means for the world, right? And then maybe lastly, thirdly, what do you think, or how did you personally play the Trump launch? What was the strategy that you choose?
Okay, so first of all, what does this mean for crypto? What does this mean for Solana? The fact that Trump has launched his token on Solana has made Solana the main character of this cycle. No question. I'm very comfortable making that prediction. Solana is going to be the main chain for this cycle. For the next 4 years, it's going to be this chain. For whatever grifts he continues to launch, it's going to continue to be on Solana. If people complain about Solana breaking, and we're going to talk about this later, but if you did this on any other L2 or on ETH for that matter, yeah, good fucking luck with the gas fees, right? It could not handle this amount of activity. So Solana, out of all the chains, Obviously, there's room for improvement here, but with this scale, I mean, there's no other blockchain that's better suited for it. That liquidity, right? Billions and dollars of capital from non-crypto natives. You have people who are using Moonshot from Jupiter, which is a way to onboard onto crypto for the first time using like your credit card or bank account or whatever. You have people that are using those services en masse. And so you're just going to see billions and billions of dollars flowing into Solana, and that money is eventually going to trickle down to the projects that really matter, right? The protocol level, borrowing and lending, any sort of DeFi is staked Sol. All of these protocols are going to see a major boost. So also another play for people to consider if they're willing to be a little patient. I think it's good to kind of look at DeFi tokens. In terms of how I played it, I paper-handed. You know this, man. Why are you making me feel bad? I bought in at a no. Okay. I woke up at 2 a.m., was scrolling Twitter at 4:30. Someone said, "What the fuck? Did Trump's account get hacked?" I ape in at $1. I sell at like, I think $1.40 just because I'm like, this is obviously a scam. And 40% of my money is I'm very happy with that, right? Oh, did not play that well at all, Simon.
What's the flip side of the coin? How should people play it in your opinion? What is we talked about it. Tell us about the liquidity pool strategy. Give us a TLDR on that one. What might be a safer way to get actually profits out of a place like this?
Guys, if you're feeling like the FOMO, don't trade like a drunk bird. Don't bother. If you want to, do so at your own risk. You will most likely lose money. The safe way of doing this, even though there is a divergent and impermanent loss, both concepts that you should study. No, I will not teach you that right now, is to go to meteora.ag. It is a website that allows you to add liquidity to certain token pairs. So an example of this would be Trump Sol or Trump USDC. You provide those token pairs into a pool, and then you earn fees when people trade within your range. So it doesn't really matter if you set the ranges, high and low enough. It doesn't matter if token price goes up and down because you're making money from the fees. So that is a much safer way of earning money. And you actually have some insight about how DEX and on-chain activity has flipped sex volume. Do you want to talk a little bit more about that and how that contributes to how people can make money on platforms like Meteora?
We see much more liquidity coming into crypto. When I say into crypto, I mean on-chain liquidity. That means people are pouring liquidity into token pairs that are on decentralized exchanges. I saw a tweet from the Bybit CEO yesterday where literally the Bybit CEO said, guys, it's happening. We're seeing the flippening right now. Sexes are being disregarded. Liquidity is flowing on-chain, and we need to do something about it. And he was promoting the Bybit DEX aggregator, which he said like, oh, we already have one of the best aggregation systems in the, like, our users love it. I was like, I never heard about this. Now I was talking about it. This was the narrative I've been following since more than a year now. The on-chain narrative. Getting liquidity on-chain, getting away from centralized systems. We talked about it so many times already. And we as builders want to build decentralized systems because we believe those are the technical superior systems for fair economies, right? They are decentralized. They are not in the hand of a single authority. They distribute capital across, many people that benefit from it together, and they cut out middlemen that are usually the main benefiters from such systems. And then yet this industry, those builders are moving their funds on centralized exchanges to trade the tokens of the projects that are themselves decentralized projects. The whole thing didn't really make sense, in my opinion, in the past couple of years. And I was on this mission to get rid of the sex cabal and make sexes unsexy. And I think we are there yet. Like this is the year. 2025 is the year. And what happened on this weekend was the main accelerant we needed to make this happen. Because now we saw, actually, first of all, Trump didn't go to Binance and ask them to list their token. They actually worked with Jupiter, Meteora, and Moonshot to make it fully on-chain. Think about that for a second, right?
Yep.
And then they actually did it, and it worked out, and then the sexes felt left out, right? And they started listing Trump quickly on their platforms and recognized that no one was trading it there. Give me your take on this, and then I want to give a quick TLDR also what that meant for Solana in the past 48 hours.
Oh, yeah. Just a very quick comment. I just want to say that's why providing liquidity on Meteora is so sexy, guys. It was already sexy, but it literally it got 10 times sexier because we're getting 10 times, if not more, of the volume. So if you're looking to make money and it's not on full exposure of a token like Trump or Melania, you don't want to deal with the ups and downs. Set a very wide range, provide like one-sided liquidity, either bid ask or curve, depending on the situation. You can study that. They have a great YouTube channel where you can learn all the basics of liquidity provision on Meteora. But that's why it's so sexy, guys. So much volume on Solana and Meteora and on-chain, and that money can be yours.
Yes, it's a beautiful strategy. I pull up a tweet right now from a friend of ours, Benny, from the Balkans as well. He posted this on the 19th of January, not 20th, so it's a little bit more than 24 hours ago. And he said back then, the last 24 hours on Solana, here's what happened. Trump launched Trump. Sol hit new all-time high, right? Sol hit new all-time high, guys. Solana DEX volume hits 11 billion, more than all other chains combined. And Meteora DLMM, the topic we just discussed, jumped to 800 million in TVL and 6.5 million of swap volume. Volume that's being just made from swapping tokens, $6.5 million. $100 million in Solana trades liquidated. The data came from Ranger Finance. So just this is usually a sign of a crazy market when things happen that were not foreseen. And over $10 billion are locked in DeFi, which is also an insane number. 5 million active addresses on chain. 5 million active addresses on chain. Yeah, so the list is actually, it's longer than ever. And I think it was a glorious day for Solana, I would say. But then on the flip side, guys, just cycling back to the present where we are today, that was 48 hours ago. Now in the past 24 hours, we also saw ridiculous arbitration opportunities on the Solana blockchain, where we saw on-chain prices of $200 versus SEX prices at $250. I want to talk about this with you. We saw Phantom pushing out a tweet, actually, a public statement yesterday, where they said, hey guys, sorry, we're currently experiencing a massive surge of 8 million requests per minute at Phantom. While we work to stabilize our platform, transactions may have trouble going through on the first try. So already a sign of, okay, wait a second, our systems are not handling the demand right now. This, by the way, guys, it's a Web2 problem. I don't think this was a problem of any kind of on-chain Solana-specific thing. It was just Phantom system breaking because of all the traffic.
Oh.
But then we also saw stuff like this, where Meow, the founder of Jupiter, apologized because all the systems of Jupiter, which is an on-chain DEX, are extreme underload right now, working to restore proper services as soon as possible. So people weren't able to get their transactions through. And there's a few things that Jupiter also reacted to make this go away. But I think, yeah, actually Meow gave a pretty good statement out there. And I think they also fixed it already pretty quickly. When I tried to make trades again now on the 20th of January, everything went smooth. No huge price gaps anymore between Solana on-chain and off-chain. And yeah, I even saw people yesterday swapping USDC for USDT, which is both stable coins, 1-to-1, but they sold 100 USDC and got 150 USDT, which makes zero sense. Again, a network problem on Solana. Any takes on all these things,
Yeah, I don't want to be generous here. Solana needs to do better. I read somewhere that 40% of the fees that were collected in the last bit, maybe about 24 hours, were from failed transactions, right? And I've had people in my chats, people who are just getting started in crypto and or don't have a lot of money. And those failed transactions are very costly for people. We shouldn't forget that Solana provides financial access to people from all around the world, including the emerging markets. And so to have failed transactions, constituting 40% of the fees that are incurred is absolutely unacceptable. So we need to do better there. The good news is that at Breakpoint, which is Solana's keystone conference every year, last year they did it in Singapore, there was an announcement of Frankendancer, right? So Frankendancer is kind of like the beta version of Fire Dancer. And Fire Dancer is, as I understand it, an upgrade to the network that would allow for an insane amount of transactions per second. And I'm not even I don't want to quote numbers here. I know we've talked about this in the past, but yeah, it'll significantly improve performance. But it's been in development for 2 years. I know that the people at Jump and Solana are taking it very seriously. They don't want to put it into production until it's working without any outages, right? So a lot more R&D and implementation to do there. But yeah, we need some serious upgrades to the network, and there are real world consequences to the issues that we're facing, especially for folks who have less money. It can be quite catastrophic to experience that, and it's very, I don't know, it can turn you off a lot to an entire chain.
I think I sent you a screenshot earlier. 41,000 Solana got lost in failed transaction fees. It's just, yeah, it's a lot of money in failed transaction fees, and that's basically dead capital, right? Like people don't, they don't get anything in return for this. So I'm completely with you. We are not really there yet when it comes to being stable enough to get all this load. But guys, this is a crazy time right now for us with lots of load on the system. I just want to take a second as well to kick off the whole kind of topic around these token launches that happened right now on Solana with Trump and Melania. Like we obviously, there's a lot of opinions right now in the ecosystem. There's a lot of people that say, it's dangerous and the president shouldn't do that. And we see people that say it's unconstitutional. The more news we're seeing and the more of the behavior I am observing from the Trump team and everyone around them, the more this feels true to me. And I think we can prove this with a few points. So just to play back what happened, right? They launched Trump kind of 48 hours before the inauguration of Trump, right? So they just launched the token. Then that is already kind of a bit of a red flag in my opinion, because you're literally using your presidency and the popularity you have around your presidency to print money, right? There's an 80% ownership of Trump by the Trump team with a vesting schedule of 36 months, sure, but still they made a lot of money on that play. So that's one thing. Then you think that's already crazy and enough, but then the next thing pulls up, and we see just yesterday the whole Melania thing coming out. So the Melania meme coin site was literally set up yesterday, and the domain was created yesterday as well. Oh, actually, I didn't see that. Eno, thanks for putting that up. So that's completely insane. So it feels like they just made this decision, in the fly. They were like, oh shit, we can squeeze out so much money here. Let's just do another one round. So literally not even one day after this Trump kind of craziness, the official Donald Trump reposted the Melania meme is live. You can now buy now Melania. And then they set up this website, this stupid website, which is like this landing page where you can buy Melania with your credit card. It just looks so, in my opinion, it just looks very bad. And then I look at the token distribution earlier and I'm like, why do you need 35% team and 20% treasury, which is 55%, basically in the hands of the same people, of a meme coin that has no future and no project? Like, what do you do? Why does the team need 35% vesting for a meme coin? What is the, usually team allocation is needed for the team to be incentivized to build out the product. What the fuck is the product? So I'm just confused what this is. And I think the answer is pretty obvious. It is a grift. And that's also what we see in the ecosystem from the people, unusual ways that they posted about. The domain was created yesterday, and one wallet has about 90% of the token supply. So it is a bit dangerous. And now, that's you think that's enough, right? You think like, okay, guys, we have a token of the photos, we have a token of the first lady now, obviously all a bit edgy. But then you head over to the site of World Liberty Financial, which is also a project that is backed by Donald Trump. And it's very obvious if you go on their website, you literally see Donald Trump, in this
shape a
epic
new
post.
era of finance. Be defiant.
That's what it said. So and you have not, like, this is basically it, by the way. Like, that was the tagline. There's nothing else on this website right now. And then you can see the token, right? And then you can buy the token. And this website again looks like a one of these pre-sale platforms where you collect tokens for whatever you think you're doing. And it's actually like the token itself, the utility is kind of it's a governance token for World Liberty Financial, which is a DeFi platform being built by a team around Donald Trump. That's the idea. It's an Ethereum project, and it's already been going for a while. The account exists since July 2024, right?
Yeah.
Of WLFI. Now, the news here, what I wanted to say is that 2 hours ago from the recording right now, WLFI posted great news. An additional 5% of our token supply is now available to purchase on our website. Again, like this kind of short-sighted decision, right? To be like,
Yeah.
oh, fuck, now it's happening. Now we can squeeze out more money. Let's just sell more tokens. Trump wasn't enough. Melania wasn't enough. WLFI, cool. Let's do the next thing. And then now you think, now you really think it's enough, right? Now you think, okay, come on, guys. Like, where does it stop? Can I do one more? Can I give you one more reason
Of
to
course,
be?
of course.
Eric Trump, right? Eric Trump posted, the executive vice president of the Trump organization, right? Posted yesterday, wait until you see what they do tomorrow. And then, this is basically what happened yesterday already. You see a bunch of transactions where they just spent 20 million USDC to buy ETH at 3,300. And it usually, this kind of indicated already there's something happening on Ethereum. And it indicated, that the next play that they do is on Ethereum. And I think that was in preparation of releasing more tokens for the World Liberty Financial and providing liquidity and whatever they do. But like literally Eric Trump also announcing this, like the whole thing seems like the Trump cabal is squeezing out money from the crypto industry.
Yep, it's true. It doesn't even stop there. There's you don't have to pull it up, but there's a Trump advisor, right, who was asked to show like a TikTok token and like I think his own token as well. And then he rugged the pool, and then people were getting mad at him, like, dude, like you rugged everybody. And he's like, I didn't rug anybody. I'm just new to crypto. And it's like, you literally sold. And he's like, well, the price was going down, so of course I sold. Everybody would do that. Just like,
That's ridiculous. It is such a good time.
it literally second and third order effects and waves of anybody in the Trump universe. By the way, for anybody who's not familiar with what a governance token is a type of token that you typically use as a vote, right? So each token is worth one vote in the same way that a share in a company is worth one vote, right? So in a world where you have DeFi, decentralized finance, it's not centralized decision making. That's not one CEO. There's no one boss. There's no one person making these decisions for the organization, right? So World Liberty Financial, okay? This idea that World Liberty Financial has a decentralized governance token where all the holders of the token can somehow contribute to governance is ridiculous because it's under the direction of Donald Trump. And Donald Trump is the least decentralized person in the world. Look, I'm not even talking politics. I'm very progressive, but this has nothing to do with politics. It's just straight facts. This idea that there's going to be decentralized governance for your World Liberty Financial tokens. Good fucking luck, buddy.
It's a bit funny and it hurts also a bit. Can I just say something as well?
Sure.
We just printed a new Bitcoin all-time high.
Oh, we did?
I just saw it in the comment section here. But yeah, this is basically what right now is going on. On the Bitcoin chart, we had 108,000 and we just reached 109,300 on. That should be a new all-time high, isn't it?
Wow.
Right? And
yes.
Like, this is really funny because yesterday we saw a lot of sideways. No, sorry, that's not yesterday. Yesterday we saw a lot of sideways action. We even saw like a good dump as well. Like it was not too crazy on the Bitcoin chart, while Solana yesterday was absolutely flying. So Solana was actually outperforming everything yesterday, and now it seems like Bitcoin is kind of coming back to it as well. What is happening? I think might this be still the inauguration of Trump having an effect on the markets? Could be. I'm not sure, honestly.
Not at all. There are hundreds of millions of people around the world who have just gotten interest in crypto. They're completely new. They've never considered buying anything before, ever, right? Not even Bitcoin. But the president of the United States has a privilege, and that privilege is being the most powerful person in the world. It's a nickname given to the president, and it's true. The president of the United States has the ultimate podium, platform, anything he says to people, like, because you've lived all around the world, right? There are people who genuinely respect the office of the president of the United States. It carries a lot of weight with it.
For sure.
So when you have someone saying, I launched my own meme coin, then all this Bitcoin that you've been hearing about for like the last decade or so, right? Suddenly it's all like, oh, I guess this isn't a scam. I guess it is worth investing in. So I think that's what we're saying. I mean, it could be related to the inauguration as well, but I truly believe it's just that there's literally hundreds of millions of people around the world who have never considered buying a single token ever. And now the floodgates are open. Like he's normalized crypto to everybody in the world, for better or for worse. Specifically the way he's doing it. Like, I'm not so sure. Like, because if this dumps, right? Like, oh my God, that's the FTX of the cycle.
Funny story related to this topic actually. Mert, the founder of Helios, is one of the key opinion leaders on Solana. Has a large following, and definitely his posts get a lot of recognition. He's a key man at Solana, very close to the foundation. And here's the funny thing: he posted something that his dad called him up, and he was like, "Hey, son, you know about this Solana, right? Like, you know what this Solana is, right? I've heard you talk about it sometimes. I think we should buy something because Trump is advocating for it." and Mert just posted because he was like, "My dad has no idea what I'm doing, by the way." He said like he doesn't know what I'm doing, but now he's calling me up. And now he's asking me to buy Solana because Trump is doing something with Solana, right?
Yeah.
That's all it takes. That's all it takes. They have literally no idea what's going on. But if Trump says buy it, Trump is the ultimate KOL. He's the OG KOL. He's the biggest KOL, and he just needs to. He's even crazier than Elon Musk, right? Elon did it with Doge, but in comparison to what Trump is doing right now, Elon is a holy man.
Yeah.
He's, like did everything right, but Trump is right now just going crazy. He's the devil.
So I mean, this kind of reminds me of like George W. Bush. Like at the time, he was like one of the most unpopular presidents ever, right, in the modern era. And that's considering that he got a huge reputation boost post 9/11, how he handled it, right? But still, because of the Iraq War, his reputation went down the toilet. And if you remember, like he was famously mocked for being stupid, right? Like, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, never get fooled again, right? This guy looks like fucking Shakespeare next to Trump. I mean, that guy.
What are you looking at?
Okay, so we are looking at the Trump USDT chart, but it's flipped 90 degrees clockwise, right?
Why would you do that?
And it's like, nah, it looks like Trump's side profile. We live in
Oh my
we
God.
live in a simulation. Legitimately, guys, the chart,
No
when you
way.
flip it 90 degrees sideways, looks like Donald Trump's face. Like, it's like when you see Jesus in the toast, it's exactly that. So I'm saying that we have to create a new like chart pattern word price action name. I don't know we have to create a new term for this, right? It's like Trump price action, it's just the hair.
It's the hair. Yeah. This is crazy. This is actually scary as fuck. And this post went absolutely viral for a reason, because it's funny as shit. 3.4 million views on that single post and 75,000 likes.
I've been telling everybody that, look, if you're making expensive mistakes currently, calm down. Stop trading. Just chill. Go grab some water. Maybe just don't even look at the charts for a day, right? Because it's better to make no money than to lose money, truly, right? And just a perfect textbook example of this is a .eth, who's like, obviously has never bought onboarded onto Solana before, isn't it? But he's like, see Melania at 90 cents, withdraw everything, try to blast 300 SOL. Fail 500 times, watch it go up to $6, try and buy the Trump dip, watch it go from 30 to 50, filled at 50, DCA down to 40 on the next dip, try to sell when it hits 54 for 100 SOL gain, fail 500 times, go get some water. Photon decides to fill my sell order 10 minutes later at 45 billion. Instead of being up 100 SOL, somehow down 10 SOL, fuck you, Solana, right? So 2 comments here. Number 1, this motherfucker trades like a drunk pig, all right? So this guy could have taken that drink of water a lot sooner. Number 2, obviously, if you knew anything about Solana, you would set the priority fees higher to even just 1 SOL. It would have, whatever transactions he was trying to fill probably would have went through. But number 3, though, this kind of fuck you Solana sentiment is powerful. It's very, very powerful. And I'm sure there are hundreds of thousands, if not millions of people who are feeling that right now. Their first experience with Solana was essentially what feels like to them a network that does not work, right? So it is absolutely imperative that as much as I think this guy's a moron and he trades like an idiot, he's correct in that the performance of the chain was not up to snuff. So fair point. That's one thing I wanted to share. I don't, but I don't know. Like,
Yeah.
what do you do when you feel FOMO, Simon? Like, how do you center yourself?
You just need to learn from it. I think it's a muscle you need to train. And you need to always remember that, it didn't work before, it won't work again. So just sit tight, like, because crypto is always doing what you're not expecting it to do. That's a great rule, by the way. If you decide to go long right now, then take a step back and be like, maybe I should go short. And just by asking that question, you will be like, shit, I have no idea what I'm doing right now. I should wait. Because it's the realization you need sometimes. It's just like, because if you don't do that, if you follow your impulse, which is usually an emotional thing, you will open at the top, right? And you will sell at the bottom. That's usually what impulsive things do to you. So always second question your decisions when you do them. And then you will find out that either you have zero idea what you're doing, or you might want to, at least wait a second if you have some other feasible data that can help you to make a better decision, right?
It's always good to take a beat. Also, we've been talking a lot about crime is legal now. So I don't know. Is it time to bring Gary back, Simon?
Well, this is maybe a good time. Like, it was literally the last week of Gary Gensler, who was the chairman at the SEC for like quite a while. Like, how many years has this guy been in office? But it's been a while, and he's been a pain in the ass for the crypto industry since all the time. He tried to always, chase after tokens and classify them as securities, being a pain in the ass for a lot of protocols that just wanted to build a great product with a utility token attached to it. He was fighting against any ETFs that were tried to be released by a lot of funds for a long time, and it was a pain in the ass to get these things through. He was known to be one of the front men for what we know as Operation Choke Point, which was some sort of strategy on some government levels to scale down crypto and even kill crypto because of lobbyism and interests of other industries that don't want us to pursue. And he was known to support this movement as well. And it's not a conspiracy theory anymore. The Operation Choke Point was a real thing, and many people admitted they've been part of this. So this man is now basically left on Friday, and the president of the United States launched his own meme coin on Saturday. I don't know what the cancer felt like, but he must be in pain right now, or he just flew to some island and he's like, I'm out. Yeah. I tried hard, but because honestly, this post right now is actually not a bad thing. Like Ash Crypto says, I think we all need to say this. We are sorry, Gary Gensler. You were right. Our space is a joke. I find it tremendously funny. And yeah, I think the answer is somewhere in the middle, right? We don't need to be able to do whatever the fuck we want. I think it is questionable what's happening right now. And I think people like Gary were a great counterweight to it. I'm really sorry to say that, but I think it is good to have people on the other side fighting for whatever cause they have, and then have the extremists on the other side, which are us, right? Fighting for our good fight. And then somewhere in the middle, we meet each other and build a system that is a compromise and works for everyone, which is usually some regulated framework, especially the financial industry. So with a grain of salt, I have to say, bye, Gary. I'm happy that he's gone. It will be good for crypto overall, but it also means that crazy things like this right now have a easier way to progress.
This whole consumer protection angle that Gary was always playing seemed kind of dumb, because it's like, it didn't really feel like consumer protection. It was more kind of like, I need to put heads on my wall, right? And that was my main problem with it. It's not even like, I mean, and like some percentage of the cases taken on by the SEC obviously were instances of fraud, right? So like, good job on those, Gary. But on the whole, the biggest cases that he was pursuing, like XRP, for example, trying to get it classified as a security, he did more harm to investors than XRP did. I mean, in fact, I wouldn't even just say that about XRP. I'd say there are multiple projects that Gary has targeted that killed the project and hurt investors more than if the project was just allowed to do their fucking jobs and work and build something cool and essentially build up value for their utility token over time. So it just, yeah, I do understand your point about balance, and I think it's a very good point, and I wish more people thought like that. The world needs balance, and it means that you need people representing different sides, but also fuck Gary.
Traffic, And then to segue very smoothly into the next topic, I want to pull up a tweet from DeFi Ignas as well right here, and I'm going to read it out. Bearish on Trump, bearish on Melania, bullish crypto native assets and memes. The market realized Trump and the team are grifters. We sell their trash and buy our own bags. The wealth outflow from crypto natives to Trump team can stop now. Back to building. This post was actually beautiful, I have to say, because the both of us are experienced builders in the crypto space. We are building companies, we're building crypto products. We believe in the technology that's underlying all those systems, and we're having fun looking at these memes, and we're having fun looking at what's happening in the world and what people like Trump are doing to crypto. But we're here for the long term. We're here for the products, and all we see right now is so much noise. And I think that's what it is. And people should realize that this right now is so much noise. Do your thing. If you see someone putting 1 mil in Trump and getting out at 20 mil, fine for them, right? Take a step back and chill. This is not possible for everyone. There will be one person in 1,000 persons that are able to do a play like this, and get a 5,000x on something in crypto. But the technology can change shit, and it can build the next era of the internet. And I think that's where we're here for. And the same way then the Trump NFT cards, I don't know when that was, faded away within a week. The same way this stuff here is going to go away at some point, especially at a time right now where attention is so scarce and goes from 0 to 1 and 1 to 0 within a couple of days, right? Everyone talked about Trump 48 hours ago. Everyone talks about Melania right now. What the heck? So I think it's going to be easier looking forward if you really focus on the signal, which is projects that have a long-term place in the world. And we have not seen altcoins outperforming the overall market yet, and there's so much opportunity still in that sector, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, this is definitely not my first cycle. So for people who haven't really experienced having money on the line and things going crazy, my favorite quote on this is "Pigs get slaughtered." I remember trading GME back in the day, and it was that feeling of like, but I can make another 20%, I can make another 50, and then you set a number to yourself and you tell yourself like, oh, it's gonna go up another 20 or 30 or maybe even 100, right? Stop. All right, pigs get slaughtered every single time. And just when you think, oh, GME, well, that stopped because they stopped the buy button, right? And then you think the solution is on chain, right? And you go like, well, they can't turn off the buy button on chain. Well, guess what? Then you get network congestion issues. There are a million ways that you and as an investor will get fucked. I promise you. It doesn't matter what you think It doesn't. There are so many new things that God forbid, but like some key person gets hurt tomorrow and it crashes the price of something, right? So it's just the world is unpredictable. The updates are constant. So if this is your first cycle, I implore you, try to play it a little bit more sane, take breaks, don't get too excited. If you find yourself changing when you want to sell out, probably a good time to sell, but not financial advice at all. I'm just begging people to not get so greedy this cycle. Be bullish, but really the true work and the only reason why any of this shit fucking matters is because Simon, builders like you and I, we meet in places like hacker houses as well as founders villas or like places where we meet up. And the reason why Trump launched his meme coin on Solana is on the I'm not saying it's because of me or you. I'm just saying it, but it is on the backbone of solid product and fundamentals, right? We have a vibrant ecosystem which attracted, let's say, people who wanted to do borrow and lending. It attracted people who wanted to do NFTs. It attracted people who wanted to trade meme coins. It attracted people who want to do liquidity provision. These are the fundamentals that have made Solana not only a solid investment, but a beautiful ecosystem to be in. So I say this every single pod when you ask me about price, right? I'm like, I don't care, because what really matters is that we build product. And we're euphoric right now. So I feel vindicated. I'm going to dance a little bit. You know what I mean? Dance on these bitches. But at the end of the day, meme tokens, who gives a shit? Sorry.
It is still something that we have to cover to an extent because it's meaningful for the chain. Like the whole happenings in the past 48 hours, they put a lot of pressure on the systems that we have built as builders, and that will make our products be even better and ready for mass adoption for real utility. Decentralized finance on chain, decentralized data on chain, all these beautiful systems. So while we're at it, while we're talking about substance right now, let's talk about what's happening on Solana besides memes and besides price action. Anything exciting that happened in the past 7 days, that you want to share with the people?
Absolutely. So many new updates. So despite the fact that we've had the craziest fucking weekend because of the Trump token, I mean, like, even without the Trump token, there were crazy announcements that were being made in the ecosystem. So number one, Jupiter is doing their second Jupiary. They just released, I think on Thursday, so a few days ago, your airdrop tracker. So if you're a Jupiter user and you're living under a rock, you should know that you can check your allocation. It's been negotiated with the community. It truly has been a negotiation. They've been talking about it for weeks. What are your thoughts on? Are you staking your Jupe and voting on Jupe initiatives?
I mean, Jupiter is a great product. The team is pretty based as well. Obviously, they're huge. They have large bags. They can do a lot of things on Solana. So we need them, definitely. They are making everything happen that happens on Solana, really. And I'm happy to support them. So yes, I hold some Jupe, a little disclaimer, and I also put it on staking and take part in governance proposals. And I also check my allocation. They came up with a tiered system as well. So they put different tiers into their airdrop eligibility checker that are based on the activity on Jupiter. So people that are trading perps on Jupe can be classified in tiers. People that are doing swap actions can be classified in tiers. And also people that are active in the staking of Jupiter can also get an allocation. That then was a separate allocation for just, they call it good cats, basically community contributors that are adding value to the ecosystem by, helping out on Discord and so on. And people were also able to submit a form to say that they are a good cat if they haven't been detected as one for an allocation. So all in all, a very well thought of system for the airdrop. The checker went out last week. People already, connected their wallets. They were able to set up a profile with Jupiter, something that was here and there also discussed in some chat rooms, as I see, because you were able to add some social accounts and so on to your wallet. You had to actually to create your profile. Now the question is, when claim, what do you think happens next for the Jupiter airdrop, the Jupiary, and when can people actually claim their tokens?
So I am in Turkey right now because I'm going to be hosting Catstanbul, which is Jupiter's first ever conference. And even I, as a member of the core organizing team, have no fucking clue. I think that the Jupiter team is putting out literally 1,000 fires at the same time, and they're trying to push towards an airdrop date. I think this is purely conjecture. No one's told me shit, but it seems like maybe by the end of this month. We'll see. Because obviously they don't want to do Jupiter. Knowing Meow's personality, that the man does not suffer fools, and he also does not suffer lateness.
What happened with the Solana AI hackathon, and what are the results?
Yeah, so we recently had our first Solana AI hackathon, and it was organized by our very good friends Yash as well as Irfan. And what they did is they cobbled together this AI hackathon within, I believe, 48 hours. Maybe it was 72, but either way, insane. And the results were judged, I believe, with a mixture of real judges and AI, right? So it took course over 15 days. Over 400 projects were launched, 21 winners, and close to over 250,000 of prizes distributed. I don't have any particular favorites because I haven't really scoured the list. But if you are looking for good opportunities in Solana, specifically in the AI area, this might be a tweet that you want to check out, the hackathon winners for Send AI. For the main track, it looks like we have Ask the Hive AI. I don't know who they are, but you want to check them out, Simon? Sound cool? Simplifying DeFi through composable on-chain AI agents.
So basically, they help you to navigate the centralized finance world with having agents do that job for you. So I think there are some good posts here where they describe the user flow as well. I guess you put in money and they do the magic. That's basically what it should be like, right?
I want to see what the performance of this is, but this would actually be very, very cool.
Yeah, I mean, why not? Like everything, it is so logical, right? Like this is all computers, all these protocols like Radium, Orca, Meteora, all the DeFi protocols, Camino, Lulo, and so on. Like everyone's executing smart contracts. Smart contracts are code, and code can be read by machines, and agents are machines. Why do humans have to maneuver and execute these contracts and click buttons and interfaces? Like, we shouldn't be the ones that do that. We should have agents do that job for us. They just need a mission from the human, a direction, what to do. You give them the task and the mission and the ultimate goal, which might be value accrual or profit, maximum profit on chain. You give them the capital that they need for that and a sovereign account they manage over with the private key ownership, and then you let them run. And I think what the Hive is trying to do here, without having dive deeper in their docs, is to basically make that world happen where you instruct an agent to do the DeFi job for you, and he will find the best path to maximum profit. Makes a lot of sense too.
That's amazing. It's basically the ChatGPT-ification of DeFi, right? So, ChatGPT was so revolutionary because, you used to have to put up 10 tabs on Google to try to find an approximation of the information that you were looking for. But, ChatGPT would tell you explicitly what you were looking for, synthesizing the information and having it, human readable in a way that's just like instant. So this kind of feels like that.
Even more. This also has agency, right? Like, this is ChatGPT with agency, means that it can also execute the mission that you give it, because it's an agent. So that is the next level, right? That's the whole agentic kind of picture that they're trying to
make me $1 million. That's the mission, Simon. Why wouldn't that be the mission?
Right. So pretty cool. Like, congrats to the winner. The Hive, ask the Hive _AI on Twitter if you guys want to check them out. Pretty cool. So the Send AI hackathon is concluded with that. Also shout out to Send AI, to Irfan, to Yash, and the whole Send initiative for helping Solana out by helping builders in advanced technology. Actually pretty cool. One thing I wanted to mention as well here in the while we're at the news section, by the way, just quickly, because while we're at it, I know it's my own project, but we also launched our eligibility checker. So Solana ID also made a big announcement last week. Obviously, Jupiter is the much bigger beast here, but we also put out an eligibility checker, with a pretty unique twist to it, because obviously we do it based on the solid score, which is a score that we calculate on top of the footprint you leave on chain. So people can also check that out at airdrop.solana.id. And now, to close the circle, there's an allocation inside of the eligibility here for Send token holders, because we have a partnership with the Send project, and there's a token which is called Send as well. And we wanted to give back a little bit to the Send community, because we want to help builders build. So we decided to everyone who holds more than 200,000 Send tokens, that they will have eligibility also for a solid airdrop. And 200,000 Send tokens are quite a bit of money. So it's not a lot of people, but it's quite a chunk of our allocation. So the Send allocation is actually UC per person, not going to lie. Just wanted to also give the people that reminder as well. But let's now circle back, Eno, to one more topic I wanted to touch on as well. I think we kind of need to talk about it as well, because last episode, I think we talked about the Bankless drama. We talked about the Ryan and David from Bankless, and how they obviously did something wrong with a project called AI Accelerates. But basically the TLDR here was that they invested in a project and then dumped the token on the community. And that was obviously very bad. But now there's a twist.
Yeah. So it's no secret that on the last podcast, we had very negative opinions about the actions of Bankless Ventures. The exact thing that we said last week is that it is unethical for you to have a medial empire, to shill a project, and then to be selling tokens at the same time. And the basics of what we said were still true. They did exactly that. They shilled a token, right? A project, and then the venture arm of their business sold some of that token while they're promoting it. That being said, I was under the impression, like, I'm issuing somewhat of a correction. I thought it was millions of dollars. Turns out it was $54,000, which is still a lot of money. I'm not saying that's not a lot of money. I'm just saying that it wasn't at the scale that I thought it was, and they ended up buying an additional, that same amount, $54,000. It wasn't just like the same token amount. So they didn't just buy the same tokens for cheaper. They bought the full amount back into the token. So I have a question. Yeah.
It says, in point of fact, Bankless Ventures did initially sell 8%-ish of its original 2 Sol allocation.
Mhm.
What does that mean? They had a 2 Solana allocation. They invested 2 Solana.
Yeah, that was the original amount.
So they had kind of a bundle or something going on where everyone put in like a very small amount of money, which is 2 Sol, I guess, like the investors. And then they sold not even 10% of that 2 Sol for $55,000 almost.
Yeah, right. So I mean, huge profit for them, you know, but
I'm just like digesting this. This means it was like $20 worth of investment, 10% of 2 Sol, like $40, $50 worth of investment
sure.
for 50K.
Yeah.
There's a 1000x or 10,000x. It's
Something
something
like
around
that.
that.
Yeah.
Okay. So they made okay. And then they decided to get rid of 8%, almost like less than 10% of that initial. Okay. So that makes it a little bit better. Yeah. They didn't dump really. Dumping would mean I sell everything. But then what else happened,
They repurchased the same amount. The same dollar amount. So I'm not saying I'm fine with it, but it's definitely not as bad as I thought it originally was. Like I was talking a lot of shit last week, so I feel kind of bad.
It is what it is. Like, they also need to make money, right? So they try to cash out a little bit. And I think it's a good move for them to come up with this very long open letter that describes what happened.
So the next topic, we had just talked about Gensler. So he's gone now, but before he left, and the door hit him on the ass, kind of pulled a bitch move, right? Like he filed a couple of lawsuits, and one of them is against a very beloved Solana project called Helium. Helium provides these network devices. These, I think it's called LOWAR. I could be mistaken about the name, but you carry these network devices with you, and then you're able to create decentralized cell phone connections. So you don't really need like a cell phone tower. Everyone carries around a receiver, and everyone's sharing their internet with each other. In that way, it's much more cost effective. And you don't have the danger of a giant telecom restricting your data or restricting what you can watch. It's very good for privacy as well. And so they've been trying to sue Helium for years. This is a post by Amir, who's one of the founders of Helium, and he's angry. Oh my God, he is angry. I don't get very angry very often, but this is a blood boiling sequence of events. There's so much more I could say, but it's probably better if I don't. And what he's referring to is that the SEC, here's an example of a bad organization. They keep finding new ways to sue you. That's so dumb, right?
But this is like they never sued Helium, did they? This is the first time they go after Helium? HMT?
Well, so they never sued them, but they've been investigating them for a number of years, right? And it was always for different reasons, right? So claiming that they defrauded their Series D investors, claiming that the coverage map that Helium provided was fake and it's not really decentralized, claiming that our cellular radios are not really cellular, right? So this is what I mean by witch hunting.
What do you think about it? Like, what do you think is let's get a little bit, let's make some assumptions here, and have some free opinions on this topic. Usually, in my opinion, these kind of strategies on a legal level happen when there's some sort of, interest in these initiatives by certain groups of interest that want to, kill the business, right? And how can you kill the business without doing anything against the law? You use the law, you leverage the law, and pay lawyers to find anything against their business. So conspiracy theory right now here from my side, what is the threat that Helium puts out? To whom does Helium put a threat out? Maybe to mobile networks and data carriers that are, providing coverage at a large scale, which are usually very powerful companies in the world. Like one of the most powerful companies. If this is a threat to them, they might be inclined to, pursue legal actions against that threat.
My counterpoint to this, even though it sounds plausible, is that Gary was the chair of the SEC, and the SEC doesn't give a shit about networks, right? Like it's just a completely different sphere of influence. Now, maybe we find out later that Gary accepted some money from telecom lobbies, and that could be something. But just from my perspective, kind of looking at the structure of the government and what Gary's incentives are, unless he was paid, under the table, there would have to be some sort of backdoor deal. Just because from a structural level, it wouldn't make sense for him to give a shit about what happens to the telecoms.
On another topic, by the way, I don't know if you are aware of this as well, but Gary Gensler still thinks that XRP was security in last SEC filing. Outgoing Security and Exchange Commissioner, SEC Chairman Gary Gensler, has filed a document that will probably be his organization's final lawsuit against the crypto promoter. Like they've been doing this since a while with XRP. But now in his last week, besides going after Helium, he also seems to have more opinions on XRP, which he tried several times already. Obviously now XRP surged in price, so I guess again there was probably something he wanted to address before he leaves office. But then to top it all up, I don't think anything is going to happen to Helium. I don't think anything is going to happen to Ripple. And Trump just launched a meme coin. So Gary, I'm sorry, man, but your mission failed.
Dude, I swear to God, they could be dragging Gary to like a mental asylum, and his last words would be, "XRP is a security."
I told you so.
Yeah.
I swear. Okay, this is kind of fucked up, but like, that's gonna be on his grave for sure. XRP is a security. He's gonna. It's just someone's gonna spray paint that on his fucking coffin. I swear to God.
Yeah.
I think just one last thing, because it does have huge implications. And as you said, there's so much noise right now. And sometimes we forget that there are real developments that are happening on Solana, stuff that actually matters that we should be paying attention to. So one of them is a law firm called Berwick Law, and they are in the middle of preparing a class action lawsuit against Pump.Fun. And how this lawsuit got started, I shit you not, was an investor who lost, I think, I don't know, maybe like $60 on Peanut. Peanut was a beloved squirrel from the state of New York who was euthanized by the New York state and became a conservative Trumpian symbol of government overreach, right? And so that token became very popular. People were buying it as kind of like a fuck you to the Biden administration and also the state of New York for killing this beloved squirrel. And an investor lost money on Peanut, and that snowballed into Berwick Law filing a lawsuit against Pump.Fun. Pump.Fun is a token launch platform that allows you to launch new tokens without having to put any money in, right? Or any serious liquidity anyways. I don't know. I don't really like Pump.Fun, but I can't deny the obvious effect that meme coins and the benefits that meme coins have had for DeFi, specifically borrowing and lending and perps. So yeah, I don't know. What's your take on a class action lawsuit against Pump.Fun?
It's such a US thing to do, right? To file a lawsuit against someone because he lost $60. It's literally peanuts. The guy lost peanuts on peanut. So I'm sorry for the pun, but it's just hilarious. So I think that in its own is just ridiculous. I don't think that should be feasible. Now it is on the table. We can't neglect the lawsuit. Pump.Fun is not the most ethical company in the world. I think it is not bad that someone is looking at them. Do we need them on Solana right now? I don't think we do. I think we could have a great ecosystem without Pump.Fun, and there will be better systems that come up after it. If we see a fall down of Pump.Fun, there will be no critical point where Solana will go down because of the importance of Pump.Fun for the ecosystem. So in my eyes, I'm pretty neutral stance on this. I never used the platform heavily. I'm not a big fan of it. I think we did our learnings with it. I'm happy we had a good time with it, but so many people lost money. I think it's not a net positive for anything in the world. They made a bunch of money, like too much for themselves, and gave very little back to the Solana ecosystem. Pretty neutral on the whole topic from my side.
Yeah, I was feeling a little concerned about what the ecosystem would look like without Pump.Fun, but kind of listening to you talk, I think I've changed my mind a little bit. It actually probably wouldn't be so bad.
You figured out.
Remember our last conversation? At that time, at those SOL prices, they had earned, and I'm sure they earned even fucking more now, but at that time they had earned like $363 million worth of SOL.
Exactly.
Now SOL is not, it's crashed a little bit, but still like much higher than it was then. And on top of that, they've been earning fees this entire time with the Trump run too. So it's all like, they're going to be they're closing on close to $1 billion, if not like multiple billions in revenue by the end of the year. So yeah, if they could ride off into the sunset and have a completely new life and never touch crypto ever again.
I think it's also time for us to ride off in the sunset. We already talked about the past 48 hours on Solana. We saw a new Solana all-time high in the past 48 hours. We saw a new Bitcoin all-time high in the past 60 minutes. We also saw Solana crashing again, transactions not going through. All the main infra projects on Solana saying excuses to everyone for the problems they had doing this high amount of traffic. We saw the First Lady launch a meme. We saw Trump launch a meme. A lot of shit happening right now. I think we keep covering this. Next week is going to be also very interesting again to reflect on what happened. I think the coming week right now, this last or mid-January week will be very interesting in crypto with all these price actions going on. I think it's not a time to rest, really. It's a time to be in the trenches, be out there and try to get your Solana news and infos straight from the Soul Brothers. And that's what we're going to keep doing, guys.
But Simon, I'm already so tired, and it's only like the first week of what it feels like the beginning of the cycle, and I'm just like, oh my fuck.
Get your coffee ready, get caffeinated, and have some fun while we're in this bull market, my friend, because there will be times as well.
Get your shit together, come on.
Exactly. The coach in me speaking, you can do this, man. You can do this. Just a couple more.
Just one more rep.
Exactly.
I just want to say, I think this is the most amount of viewers we've ever had for Soul Brothers. So, I mean, for anybody who's tuning in for the first time, really appreciate you joining. I hope you enjoyed our conversations regarding what the fuck has been going on Solana, things that we need to improve, things that are a little iffy, things to stay aware of. If you joined in the middle or just joined, you can watch the live stream from the very beginning. We also publish a much more polished version of the podcast that will be out. So just thank you very much. We aim to give you all the information you need about the latest and greatest that's going on in Solana so that you can stay informed and make the right decisions for yourself, whatever that may be.
See you soon. Thank you everyone for tuning in here in this live session. Make sure to follow the Soul Brothers on X as well, and give also a subscription to our YouTube account if you want to see the polished version of the pod every single week, so you don't run out with fun things to talk about with your friends and family. With that being said, guys, thanks for tuning in again, and bye until the next time.
Adios, everybody.